friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. I'm back for my next video. I'm not sure what number this is, but this is going to be 47. Ode to the Scarlett House. Tanya Brockmeyer is the designer and reproductionist and charter of the Scarlett House. And that's the retreat I went to in Tulsa at the Silver Needle last week. So I wanted to share some of the things I bought and just some of the wonderfulness of that retreat. So let's see. I really don't know where to start. I think I'm going to start with what things I bought, and then I'll focus totally on Scarlett House and the retreat projects and all those goodies. So I should have had a video 2 weeks ago, but I was getting ready for the retreat and I didn't have that much to show. So I have been stitching on a few other things that I didn't bring in, but I will show them again in another video that aren't Scarlett House. I'm not going to show any quilts, and here's my rationing. I know in the past, Brendan, Laura, and I, not that we're the only floss, because there's so many wonderful floss tubers out there, and I'm hoping you get a good array of people that you watch, that you like, and that stitch what you stitch, or that are interesting to listen to. But in the past, Brendan the Serial Starter and me, Saltbox Stitcher, have been on opposite weekends. So I think they're going to do, Brendan and Laura are going to do one tomorrow, Sunday. Today's Saturday. So what I'm going to do, we'll see if this works, is next weekend I'm going to do one that's primarily quilting, but we'll have just a little bit of stitching, and that way kind of get back on key. Today is Saturday, June 19th. So I forgot to put jewelry on, so you'll just have to take me as I am, but whatever. I'm clean. I did have a shower, so I'm clean. Don't I smell good? Anyway, so I'm going to start with the retreat. Was there were two actually different sessions. The first one was a Wednesday, Thursday, I believe, and then ours was Friday, Saturday. And Friday you could go and sit in the stitching room and stitch all day, and then I think 4 o'clock-ish, 5 o'clock-ish, something like that, we started. And so we had a Friday night session, and then we had an all-day Saturday session. So while I was there, I actually got to, it's a long story because I did a lot of other things. I saw family and all of that, so I won't go into all that detail, but I got to Tulsa on Thursday, went directly to the store, saw Laura, saw Tanya, saw Pam, saw Kelly, you know, kind of reacquainted with some of my peeps, and then met them on Friday at the store. So we stitched during the day and shopped. So I'm going to show you a few things that I'm going to call haul that I bought while I was there. I didn't buy a whole lot, but I did buy a few things. This is a Chessie and Me. Chessie makes these little kits, and they have the linen in them and the chart. Whoops. This particular one is Christmas. And I'm looking at the wrong camera. I'm sorry. I forgot we have my phone and the computer going. We use the computer as a backup, but my phone has a better camera. So I'm going to try to concentrate on looking at the phone. So anyway, this is Noel and Noel House by Chessie and Me. And they're very small, but they're just really cute smalls. And Chessie and Me generally has at least 1 or 2 specialty stitches, maybe some satin stitch or Smyrna crosses or something like that. So they're really fun to do. This one is called Glory House. Again, by Chessie and Me, another kit. Has the threads. This particular kit has silks. So I got those two. And then there were a couple things up on the wall, of course, when you see the models. And Silver Needle has so many wonderful models that it's really easy to see what the piece looks like once it's finished and to really, you know, enjoy seeing that. So that's very influencing. This particular one is by Erica Michaels, and it's called Charlotte Mullinger. And there again, it's by Erica Michaels. It was on display. Here's a picture of the antique. I didn't kit it or anything, but I think I would eventually like to kit this. The pattern just doesn't give it justice. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And you can also do the mini one too. You see that? This is gonna be crazy because I'm looking, I know, many times at the wrong camera, so I apologize. I got that. I don't know if this is, I don't think this is new. This is Plum Street. No, it's 2007, but I didn't have it. And it's called Give. I just really like that. You see it? I'm not taking these out. Oh. I got this one, and I think somebody recently has done this. Sergey. Pick your pronunciation. By Plum Street again, and it has that bird. Love that bird. Again, this is not a new one. This one came out in 2011. Sometimes though you can see things like this when you're at a retreat that maybe you hadn't seen before. This is another new one, not a new one. This is called Promised Lamb by Plum Street. This one came out in 2013. I just love that. The verse says, it has an angel, it has a manger, so it does have a Christmas theme, but to me it's not necessarily Christmas. I mean, it does have some holly here, but again, Promised Lamb. This is another Erica Michaels that they had on display. They had the model done. This one is Abra, A-B-R-A, Lowney. Lowney, 1825, and this one is a sampler adaptation. And it does have some specialty. Looks like this is some stem stitch on the branches. I don't think you'd have to do that though, but it was beautiful. I love the blue. You don't usually see a lot of just blue and white samplers. Abra Lowney. 1825. So, and then I got a piece of Havana, 35 count Havana. Just cause I really like that. That's by Weeks. And that is actually old Weeks, but I love that color. Okay, I did get one other thing that was kind of quilty, and this is Susan Aki's latest book. I think she has out 5 or 6 books. This is called Sampler Spree, and this is one that Moda is currently doing a sampler quilt along this summer. And Susan's extremely talented. I've mentioned before, she's Yard Girl 60, good friend of mine. So this is just really a block book, has tons and tons and tons of different blocks. And, you know, you could do it however you wanted. Of course, this is her quilt. Those are not my colors at all, but I think it would be beautiful in my dark and dirty colors. Okay, let's see. What should I do next? Since this is kind of ode to the Scarlett House, I'm going to talk about the retreat. And then I will talk about some of my finished pieces and my current works in progress for Scarlett House, and maybe some kitted things that I want to eventually stitch. So, the first project we had was Friday night, and that was a piece that I have been working on. So this is what it looked like. Now these aren't currently out. These were retreat pieces. They'll probably be out in a year. It's called Gathering Together. And it says Gathering Together as Friends. We didn't get the scissors, but we did get the tray, which I love. We got some, it's kind of like a newsprint type fabric to go on the back of our piece. And this is my progress. So I worked on it quite a bit yesterday, Gathering Together as Friends. I think this is on, let me tell you exactly what it's on. 36 count Ren from Picture This Plus. And it's Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works. So the idea, when it's all done, let me see if I can sort of do this. Of course, she had the models there, so that was very fun to see those. So when it's all done, it will go in this tray. It's very cute. This little tag was on our bags. Thank you for gathering with us, and has all those people stitching, which is so wonderful. And then this was our thread card. And Tanya just puts together such a wonderful packet for retreats. So this is our thread card, and this is actually for both pieces. The piece we got Friday night that I've been working on, and the Saturday project. So this was the thread card, and now I'll show you the Saturday project. I haven't started this at all. So here it is, and I think some people have posted it on Instagram, so you've probably seen it. It's called Catherine Croft 1828. The sampler is just, it's not framed, it's just, you know, either hem stitched or some kind of stitching on the edge to finish it. And then the box, the pin cushion, the scissor fob, the strawberry, and the needle book all go together. They all match. So we got the box, and we had this crafting paper that we glued on. So there's 3 different ones. There's this one, which has the script. There's this one that's, kind of a pinkish floral, monochromatic floral. And then there's this one, which is the rose floral. And it's just painted black. Her husband painted all of these for us. And then we had a template to make the inside of the box, and we simply glued it to a piece of foam core with a little bit of batting. It's that same newsprint fabric. And so it fits in the box. So then, when everything is finished, you can set those things in your box with your strawberry, your needle book, and your sampler. Genius. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So anyway, that is the project that we got. And again, same colors from the Friday night and the Saturday night piece. And I'm sure in maybe a year or so it'll be released, because that's generally how retreat pieces work. So then Tanya had 2 new releases that I got. This one is called A Changed World. The world has changed, and so have we, learning to be still, yearning to be free. And these are original designs. Truth can be very elusive to man. With faith as our compass, we stand. Worked by my hand in the year 2021. And then it has Tanya's initials. A Changed World. I'm thinking these are available now, because these are her newest releases. And then the next one is Caroline Suffling, Suffling, 1848. Of course, I had to get the newest ones. And this one is stitched with a Versoix. This one is also stitched with a Versoix, both with DMC conversions. I love this. Love it, love it, love it. Caroline Suffling, and it looks like the only over one is the name here. Got that, and then we got some wonderful things from Lindy, who owns the Silver Needle. Very nice lady. So she gave us a goodie bag. Silver Needle. She also gave us, and I didn't bring those to show. I'll try to show those next time. She brought us some bags that were, they're like that plastic covered, whatever, like bags you would get. I don't know, but they're Vera Bradley, and there's a bunch of different sizes bags in there. This is called an emergency finishing packet. It has all kinds of finishing things in it, and a little piece of wool. The 4-leaf clovers are on the bag. They're not in there, but lots of those little hooky things. I can't remember what those are called, but that will fit like on a project bag. Some rings, just all kinds of goodies in here for finishing. There's some Lady Dot trim. I haven't even opened it yet because it just is so cute like this, so why open it, you know? We got some ribbon trim. This one has scissors, needle, ironing, an iron. Then we got a packet in there too of limited edition floss from Gentle Art, sampler threads. So tons of goodies. Also got some stickers from Heartstring Samplery in our little goodie bag from Silver Needle. So lots of fun. If you ever get a chance to go to a retreat, I highly recommend it because they're fun. You get to spend time with your friends. You get to, a lot of times there'll be a designer and you get a special project, and it's all just worth it. Okay. Oh, and then we also got pens, say Silver Needle, so can't leave that out. I think I ended up with more than one. Okay, so at the retreat, one of the things that we had to do at this, I think like the middle of the second day, was, and keep in mind, this was just half of the people that attended the retreat. So the first session was Wednesday, Thursday, and then ours was Friday, Saturday. And I can't estimate good. I'm not a good estimator of how many people or how far a distance. I always get messed up with, like if you're listening to a map on your phone and it's trying to tell you and it says in 800 yards, turn right. I'm like, I have no idea how far 800 yards is. So I'm usually turning either too soon or too late. But anyway, so I'm not a good estimator, but I'd say there was probably at least 50 people in the room, I'm guessing. I don't know, 40 to 50. I could be totally wrong, and there could have been 35 and there could have been 70. I don't think there was that many, but I think it was around 50. Anyway, so one of the things we did was to go around and introduce ourselves and, you know, tell a little bit about our, you know, what we stitch and all that kind of thing. And if we had ever stitched any Scarlett House pieces. Well, I sat there, you know, quickly trying to go through my mind of the various Scarlett House pieces that I have stitched. And I think I came out with about 6. Then later I got to thinking, well, I think there's more than that. Just thinking of the ones that I have framed, the ones that I don't have framed, plus the ones that are in my whip pile. So that's what I thought I would show you today so that you could enjoy some of Tanya's designs and maybe decide you want to stitch some yourself. So first I'm going to do the framed pieces. So give me a minute because this is like a lot. And some of these are really heavy frames, so we'll see. The first one, and this is not the order that I stitched them, but these are the ones that are framed. I have more that are not framed. I showed them last time on my unframed and unquilted, but I will show you again today some of the things that I have done that aren't framed. This one is Mary Betjell, and there could be a year with it, you know, like Mary Betjell 1810 by the Scarlett House. This is the one I think has a little bit of feel of Christmas, although it's not a Christmas sampler. But the beautiful reds and greens are just gorgeous. So this is Mary Betjell. And that's why you see holes on my wall, because I've taken some of these off of the wall, obviously. Let me see if I can stack these without. So Mary Betjell. The next one is Mary Cook. And I've shown all of these at the time when I got them framed, but since I'm doing kind of a tribute to Tanya and all her wonderful reproduction designs, as well as some of her original designs, I thought I would show them. So this is Mary Cook, 1795. I love this one. It was very fun to stitch. There's no over one. It's just a lot of motifs. Let's see here if I can do this without dropping anything. This one is Sarah Elizabeth Brooks. And I think Tanya said this was the first one that she released herself. I think she said this is the one, I may be wrong, but I think she said this is the one she told her husband, if you let me buy this one sampler, I'll never buy another one. She says that's the biggest lie I ever told. So this is Sarah Elizabeth Brooks. 1842, I'm sure is the date. So Sarah Elizabeth Brooks. I'm trying to put these down carefully. The next two are really large. So let's see if I can do it without one of them dropping. Oh wait, there's a bunch more. Let me show the smaller ones. This is Sarah Redfearn, 1826. Sarah Redfearn, but it's spelled F-E-A-R-N, so it kind of looks like Fearn, Redfearn, Redfearn. I don't know how that girl pronounced it back in the day. So that one's a fun one. Let me see if I can do this one next. This is Rachel Howells. This is one of my very favorite. I love this. I've seen people stitching on this recently. Rachel Howells. Let's see if it has a date. I don't know. Oh, 1856. Rachel Howells, 1856 up in the corner. The border on this is tedious, but so worth it. It is so gorgeous. So gorgeous. Rachel Howells. I think Brenda said that's her favorite sampler. This is the Smith sampler. I was looking for a date. I don't know if there is a date on this one, but this is the Smith sampler. Love it, love it, love it. I love that bowl of fruit. And the only over one is actually what's right in here on the berry bowl. There's the letters Smith over one. This one is Ann Pegg, 1877. This actually, I think it was charted for cotton, but Carol Crago and Yvette were at the attic and they were going to do a conversion and they wanted to know if I was interested in the fibers, and I said yes. So I did do this one in silk. So this is Ann Pegg, 1877. And then the last one that I have framed, and again, this is another one of my very favorites. This is Martha Pudsey. And this is 1835. This frame's really heavy. I love this one. I love them all, but you know, some are kind of your favorites. I just love the border on this. Some people call it a lollipop border. I love the contrast with the white. I just love it. The trees, funky trees down there. Love it, love it, love it. So those are the only ones I have framed. Now let's see if I can. Just a second. Okay. Let me move this one too. So those are the ones I have framed that I've taken off the wall. Now I have to remember where they go when I put them back on the wall. Now I'm going to show you a couple that I have finished but not framed. And like I said, you've seen all of these at one point in time. I have a friend and she said, oh, I don't care. None of us remember one video to the next what you show. So you can show them all again and we won't know. This is Keisha, Casey, Cece, whatever, Smith. This was actually a kit that I got when I went to summer school at the Attic in 2019. I finished it this year. So Keisha or Cece or whatever, Smith, 1822. Now, my nephew's wife is from Denmark. And I asked her, I showed her a picture of this, and she said she would say Cece or Cisa. So I have no idea how this is supposed to be pronounced. But she's from Denmark, was raised in Denmark. When she met my nephew online, she moved to America. They got married, and so she knows she's Danish. So I don't know. But she's like, Keisha? I wouldn't call it Keisha. Who knows? I thought that was funny. I was like, Nell, I need to ask you something. So anyway, another one that's not framed. This is Elizabeth Hunter. I love this piece. I really need to frame this one. And then this one is a little red chair sampler that I also, let's see, did I finish that this year or last year? I can't remember. It's not been that long ago that I finished this though. So those are my Scarlett House finishes. So that's kind of exciting. So then I'm going to show you some of my Scarlett House whips. So some of them are in this bag. So let me open this up and show you. Some of them are barely starts. Others I've done quite a bit. All of them I need to finish. So the oldest whip I have from the Scarlett House, I'm just going to show you the front of it. This is Ellen Strick, 1849. I think years ago I got it's right down here. You can barely see it, but it's Ellen Strick, 1849. I think years ago, I've probably had this as a whip for close to 5 years. Maybe not quite that long, but maybe at least 4 years. And I originally got a kit from the Attic. And it's 46 count, and I'm using Tudor silks. It's a very, very neutral palette. Browns, golds, blacks, creams, a little bit of green, and a little bit of blue. Tealy blue. So here's the piece. Now, here's the key with this one. Why is this not finished, is what you will ask. See, I'm looking back and forth, so forgive me if my eyeballs are all over the place. But my phone is right above, and my phone has a better camera. So we have it turned so I can't see the front of the phone. I can just see the back of the phone, which means that's where the camera is, but my eye keeps going to my own image here. So it's hard to talk to yourself when you can't see yourself. Anyway, this is Ellen Strick. It's wrinkled. A lot of this is over one, a lot of it. So obviously, that can kind of be a game changer. Not just the verse. A lot of these smaller images are over 1. I think some of these birds are over 1. But I really do just need, I think these little butterflies or whatever they are up at the top, I think they're over 1. But I need to just finish it because it's beautiful. I saw it framed at the attic the last time I went in 2019, and I was like, I just need to finish this. With the Tudor silk, I'm able to do a full cross on 46, which is what I did on that Jesus Savior. And I just, first of all, I need to refold it in a different fashion so that I don't get the same fold lines. Anyway, that's one of my whips. The next oldest whip that I need to finish is the 7 sheep sampler, and I've showed you this many times. This is 7 sheep sampler. It doesn't have a date. And I'm doing this one, oh, that Ellen Strick. I want to say this is a Lakeside, maybe butter pecan or exemplar. I don't really remember what it is. And these are the silks for 7 sheep. And this is where I am on this one. And this is on 46 count autumn gold, which is a double dyed. I think that's what it's on. I'm pretty sure. So let me show you a little close-ups. 46 count to me is about the same as 40 count. I have a little bit of 56 count, but I kind of haven't ventured there. I think I took a few stitches on one of them. I probably will have to use a magnifier rather than just readers. I probably have to do both if I do 56. But 46 is very doable. I can stitch it in hand. So I have that one side of the vine finished, and I need to move on because I love this piece. And this is one I'm constantly telling myself, you need to get back to that. So I need to get back to that. Hold, please. I've found that for me, if I just take the time and kind of stack things together, they don't get lost or misplaced or one thing with the wrong threads or whatever. The next one is Anne Long. This is on 37 count Legacy by Access Commodities in the color Wild Honey. Another one I just love. I think this was a retreat piece at one time because I think they did something with the bench. I think I've seen Brenda and Laura. It's Anne Long 1826. I think I've seen a small that Brenda and Laura have done with that bench. So I think originally this was a retreat piece, maybe from summer school, I'm not sure. And I have just a little start on this. And it's going to be fairly big. It's a joy to stitch on though, because this 37 count Wild Honey is just beautiful. I'm not sure why I stopped. That's a really good question. So anyway, that's where I am on that. It's a wonderful feel. That Legacy is just, it's a kind of a more substantial linen. So it has a really good feel to it. Hand, as they say in the retail business, has a nice hand. The next one that's in my whip pile is Hannah Tingy 1823. I started this one last fall. I want to say right after Thanksgiving I started this. Because to me it does seem kind of Christmassy. And look at how mature I am. I've actually stitched some of the over one ahead of, might have a needle in here, so just a second. Ahead of the finish. Usually I finish it and then I go back and have to stitch the over one, which is not real smart. But this one I actually have stitched some of the over one. So I have quite a bit done on this one. I have the border finished, including the flowers, have the house. I'm working on the, what do you call those? Stanchions? No, they're not stanchions. That's something at the movie theater. What do they call the inside of windows? The inside of the windows. I have one deer finished. The only thing I don't like about the sampler, I think it's so weird, I don't like the big eyes on the deer. They're big black eyes. They're just kind of creepy. But I will stitch it like that because that's how it's charted. So anyway, so I have part of the over one of the deer. So I definitely need to get back to this. But this one, like I said, does kind of remind me of kind of Christmassy. And this one I am using, let me make sure these are the right ones. Yep. This I'm using NPIs, which are the called for. And there's some bright reds, golds. Really pretty. Love the reds in here. So that's a whip. And I have 2 more whips. Now, this being said, I am not showing you any of the smalls that I have done by Scarlett House. So I know I've done the Halloween one, Button-Eyed Cat, and there's a few others that I've done that are just, you know, smalls. At some point, maybe I'll show you those. But I didn't, some of them aren't finished. Some of them are seasonal. I didn't go and get them all out. And mostly this is just her reproduction samplers. And those new ones are her original designs. And there's a couple in here that I'm going to show you that are kitted. This is one I've been working on the last few days. This is 40 count, 18th century Blackbird by, that's the linen, by R&R. And it's a big piece. I haven't cut it down. This is, well, it would help if I'd show you the front of the, did I not bring it? And here it is, Ann Topley, 1802. It's a very colorful sampler, but it was originally done on black. You can see here it was done on black. So this 18th century Blackbird is very gray. So I stopped the other night because I got to a point. Here's the threads for it. They're all cottons, mostly are, there's a couple classic colorworks, but mostly Gentle Art. Well, this blue, like in Topley right there, shows up nicely on the black. But I started doing a letter and realized the blue I'm using, which is soot, I think, which is kind of a gray blue, is not going to show up. So I'm going to pick a different blue, but I haven't decided what. So you can see where my needle is there. Here's the thread. It's not going to show up. And it's definitely an important part or important color because her name, Topley, is going to be in that. I'm just struggling here to show you this very well, but I apologize. I don't know what my issue is. Anyway, you can see where I started stitching the letter right here next to the K and L, and you can't even see it. So I'll be picking a different blue, something that's a little more vibrant, that'll show up on this gray or linen. I love the linen and I love the look of it. It's going to be a little bit ghosty, but I like that. But I think the colors, once you get into it, are showing up fine, except that blue. So that one is Ann Topley, 1802, and that again is a whip, obviously. Another whip is Mary Lindley, 1829. And this is really small, but it does have quite a bit of over one. And this is barely a start. I have, let's see, think it would be like this, because I usually start in the upper left and go down, and then I come back and go across. So this is where I am. So really just not even half of the border, because I don't have the flowers completely on there. I didn't bring the threads for this, but they're Belsoise silks. Mary Lou Lindley, 1829. I think Laura and Brenda, I think Brenda has it finished, but I think Laura showed it on their last video. The next one, and I worked on this a little bit. I took this with me on my trip. I worked on this, and I worked on a couple other pieces that I'll show you in my next video. And this one is Jane Cowie, 1850. And this one is a little bit brighter colors than a lot of her samplers, but it's beautiful. This is complete with bling and everything. So these are the colors. There's these oranges, corals, pinks, reds. And this one I don't know what this, I think this is Exemplar by Lakeside. It's 40 count. And this is where I am. So I have that top band, and that was one of the things I worked on, because in fact, I'm still down here. I had done the most of the baskets, but I hadn't filled in all the flowers. So that was one of the things that I actually worked on while we were at the retreat on that Friday stitching day. Jane Cowie, 1850. Those are my finished, framed, and whip Scarlett House. Now you want to see my bag of kitted? Okay, here we go. I don't think all of these are Scarlett House, but most of them are. I have this one. We Are the Sampler Makers, and this was part of the attic last year, 2020, that I did not go to, but since I had paid, I got my kit. And there again, Tanya does the most wonderful thread keeps. Look at that little girl's picture. She's adorable. So this is We Are the Sampler Makers. Plying our needle on linen with thread, our work will live on long after we're dead. Our gentle art gives us such pleasure. The stitchers before us we truly do treasure, for we are the sampler makers. None of these have been started. Just kidding. So if that's a start by kidding them, then there we go. This one is done on, it looks almost like Havana again, because it's dark. And I do have the horn book for this too. So once it's done, I'll be finishing that myself. I have a couple other things in here that aren't. Okay, this is another one. Charlotte Frost. This came out 1846. This one came out last year, 2020 at Market. This and Jane Cowie were two of them that I bought from Market. Haven't started it. I have it kitted with this 37 count corn tassel from Access Commodities, so it's a legacy linen. Charlotte Frost, 1846. Love that house, love the sheep. I'm really itching to start this, but I'm also trying to get my whip pile down. It's a dilemma. It's a constant dilemma. Do I work on my whips? Do I start something new? Here's another one. This is Entwined Hearts. This is one of her original designs, and it's done on this red pear linen. I think that's what it is. Yes. No, lied. I lied. It's Aztec Red from Weeks, which is what I have it kitted with. Red pear is a little more pink. This is done with Classic Colorworks and, yeah, Classic Colorworks, which I don't have the threads in here, just the linen. This one's not kitted, but this is Little Deed Sampler, another one of her originals. This one's stitched on 36 count Confederate gray with cottons. I think there's people that have finished this. Little Deeds of Kindness, Little Words of Love, Make Our Earth Need and Like the Heaven Above. 2019, so this one came out in 2019. Love this one. This is another original, I believe. This is Roses for Ruby. Stitched on 36 count hog bristle, and I do have a piece of hog bristle, but I'm currently stitching something else on it, and I haven't cut it down, but there'll be plenty for this, because this is only like 10 by 10, 9.5 by 9.5 on 36 count. So it's not very big, but I do have I think I'm missing a few, but the Classic Colorworks Belsois Silks. But this is beautiful. And there again, this is an original design by Tanya, the most talented woman. I think next to Blackbird, and I've collected Blackbird for a lot longer period of time. I've collected Blackbird for, who knows, in the 90s, whenever they started designing. And I've done a lot of them. This is the famous floral motif sampler. Brenda just finished hers. I really want to start this, but I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to finish a whip first before I stitch this one, so before I start it. I have it kitted with the called for Seraphim Prairie Grass, 40 count, and the cottons. Oops. Sorry for the glares. I just don't want to take all these out because I'm lazy. She's really released a lot in the last couple of years, and so I can't think of a time that I did not buy a new release from Tanya. I'm sure there were some, but for the most part, I've bought all of them. This is Sarah Jackson. This is a reproduction. It was stitched on Dolphin from Weeks, but it says a suitable substitute is eucalyptus. So I have a piece of eucalyptus in here, which is, it's a little bit blue or green than the picture. The picture makes it look more gray. Sarah Jackson, I don't see a date. She was 7. So, isn't that beautiful? And those are the colors. So it's pretty neutral colors. There's a little bit of rust, but for the most part, it's just tans and creams and some greens. It's beautiful. I can't wait to do this one too. Okay, let's see what else I have in this goodie bag. I have a few other things that aren't Scarlett House, so we'll get to those. This is the last one. The rest of them are some others that I have kitted that I'll show you at another time. This is Isabella Jackson, 1829. And this one, let me see when this came out. This is another one I really, 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 really want to start. Really, really. 2020, so this came out last year. I think this came out about the same time as Jane Cowie and Charlotte Frost. Isabella Jackson, 1829, by the Scarlett House. And I have this one kitted with Ale, 40 count Ale, by Picture This Plus, easy for you to say, Carol. And then it calls for Belsois Silks by Classic Colorworks. Beautiful. So that is Ode to Scarlett House. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all those and that there's something that you are inspired to start or to kit or to just buy the chart. So anyway, that's all for today. It's a shorter video, 49 minutes if I'm seeing it right. So it'll be easy to upload hopefully, and Lord willing and the creeks don't rise, I will be back next week. I'm hoping. And for all of you who have a father, my father passed away 1988, so many years ago. He was probably the most wonderful man in the whole world. I had a wonderful father. He was kind, generous, giving, everything a father should be. Funny. He was very humorous, very witty, and I miss him dearly, but I know that someday we will be reunited in heaven because I am a believer and he was a believer, and It's all good. So anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you have a great Father's Day for the men in your lives that are fathers, and just a special day for them. So anyway, I think that's all I have. So love you. Bye. Hey, it's Carol. I'm back. I cleaned up everything, and when I was putting some things away, I thought, you know, there's other Scarlett House ones that I have. I turned all the lights on the house back on, so this is going to seem a little weird. But anyway, there's other ones that I have kitted that I really felt like I should show. So I'm going to add another couple minutes on to this video so that you can see some more wonderful Scarlett House ones. And there's even more that she has released that I have in a box, but these are the ones I had out, so I just thought, you know, I need to show these too. So anyway, we'll get all this spliced together and we'll all be fine. But anyway, this one is Mary Ann Farmer, and this is gorgeous. I have seen this one stitched, and it is fabulous. 1834, Mary Ann Farmer. I have this one kitted with calls for doubloon, and that's what I have it kitted with, doubloon and NPI silks. So anyway, and then this is the Adam and Eve. I saw this one at the Attic stitched, the model, and it's gorgeous. So this is Adam and Eve. Some of these are a little older. This is Anne Priest. Let me see if I can pull this out of here. 1841. This one has quite a bit of over one. Obviously I haven't started this. This one I have kitted with Old Town Blend from R&R, 40 count, with Gentle Art. And it's all these wonderful colors. These are really what I would call Tanya's colors. The beautiful reds, greens, tans, blues, blacks. The next one I don't have kitted, but it's Hannah Hurd, and this is another one that came out in 2020. And the next one was a kit, I believe, from Country Sampler, Mary Miller, with the beautiful gold house. And I don't know if this is from Country Sampler or not, but anyway, I thought it was, but it's Mary Miller, golly, it's hard to read, 1842. Love the horse, the gold house, it's all beautiful. And the last one that I'm going to add on to show you is Mary Rowe. I think Brenda has this finished, hanging in her house. It has these beautiful brighter colors, the eyelet, little hill or mounds or whatever, and the little girl. Here's the blow-up picture of the little girl. Mary Rowe, 1808. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to show you a few extra things. See ya. Bye.